Hey friends, it's your buddy Matt Lyles here for Message by Massage, and I've got just for you the latest edition of Matt's Motivational Minutes videos, where I give you faith, wisdom, and life experiences, and you guessed it, just 5 minutes or less. And the title of our time together today is God's Got Something to Work With. Now let me ask you a question there, watching friend. Do you ever struggle with feeling like you don't have much to offer? Like you don't got a lot of talents? Like you don't have a lot of resources? That you weren't built just as good as everybody else? Well, I got good news for you. It doesn't take a whole lot to please God and a whole lot for him to have something to work with. It goes back to the story, I believe it's in Mark chapter 6. We're talking about Jesus feeding the 5,000. Now there was a big task ahead. Jesus had just preached and the disciples were there, and they had 5,000 men, not including women and children, to feed. And Jesus said, go feed them. And of course the disciples go, they look around and they go, this would take more than a half a year's worth of wages to feed these people. What are we going to do? And of course this little boy comes up and he gives God everything he has. He's got 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. And what do you know? Jesus takes it, he breaks that bread and he blesses it and he feeds the 5,000 men, not including women and children. So, what's the key to the story right there, friends? What's the motivating point? All you got to do is be like that little boy. And you may say, you know what? I only got one good arm right now, just like me. Or I only got a little bit of money. I've only got this one talent. I'm going to tell you, friend, you just take that talent, you take that little bit of resource that you have, and you give it to the Lord. I believe it's Proverbs 16:3, which says you commit the works of your hands to the Lord, and He will establish your plans. All you got to do is just take it and give it to Him. It's not about having the most. It's about having a heart of surrender and being able to take that little bit that you got, friend, and just give it to God and say, you know what, God? This is all I got. Can you take and do what you want with it? And I tell you, take that little bit, friend, and I tell you, God's saying, hey, now that's something to work with. God would rather work with a little bit that you got with a heart of surrender than with a whole bunch of riches that somebody else may have, and they want to have a white knuckle grip onto it, and they don't want to give it up. So it's okay, friends, if you're not the most talented, you're not the smartest, you're not the richest, you're not the best looking. All you got to do is take what you got and give it to God. And He says, hey, now I got something to work with. Listen, that's the story I've lived. I wouldn't consider myself extra talented at anything, but you know what? Give it to God, and He's got something to work with. And then, see, I can only add to what I have, but God, my friend, can multiply what you have. So would you rather be added or multiplied? I'm going to tell you I'd rather be multiplied, because that 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread got multiplied many times over to serve a grander purpose than you or I could even think, ask, or imagine. I look back at my career and what God's done with it, between the little bit of cooking that I could do at Hartford Hospital and a little bit of massage that I can do, and He's done some great things. And that's not to boast about me. That's to boast about God and the God that multiplies, amen? So, friend, if you're the one who's struggling today, and you're the friend who's sitting there going, man, I'm just not very talented. I just don't have a lot to work with. Let me tell you, God's got plenty to work with if you give it to Him. I hope this video has blessed you and encouraged you. Until next time, stay safe. God bless you. And give what you got to the Lord, because He's got something to work with.